Hello, everyone. Hope everybody is okay today. Have some new as ever treats. Raspberry jam is back. Strawberry jam. Some interesting things today. Some fun things for once. A little bit of recap on Harry's case. And some fandom beef that I try to avoid, but today I just wasn't going to bite my tongue. Oh, today I was not going to bite my tongue because there's just some ish going down on these royal streets that I am quite frankly sick of. And I feel like it needs to be called out. Yes, Meghan has dropped her first ever Valentine's Day collection. Live on the as I'm talking about this, let me just open up the As Ever website so I don't miss anything like I did last time. Let me not be a bad commentator. Yes, Valentine's Day collection is here. Say I love you with something sweet. Treat yourself or a loved one. Okay. Yes, thumbs up, please. Thank you, Church Nelly, for reminding everyone. Thumbs up to let the algorithm know that we are here. You know, I was really getting into the swing of things on TikTok, but I don't know if I'm honestly going to keep it up. And you've probably noticed, those of you that follow on TikTok or watch the shorts, that I've kind of slowed down with them. And that's just because I don't really know where TikTok is going to go at this point. Because of the takeover by Larry Ellison and it's now US owned. I don't know. But if you're wondering why I've slowed down, it's because I want to see what direction that app is going in before I commit to it anymore. All right, let's get into the positive stuff first. Yes, another drop for As Ever. Valentine's Day drop. So the first launch of our Valentine's Day collection is here. Thoughtfully made for sharing, gifting, slow mornings at home with loved ones. For the first time, strawberry spread is available on its own alongside the return of raspberry spread. Finally, I mean, so many people were waiting for that. And so you've got the strawberry spread in a keepsake packaging. That's number one. Strawberry spread trio, so 3 in gorgeous packaging. Raspberry spread in keepsake packaging. Raspberry spread on its own, and then you've got raspberry spread trio, and then the raspberry spread, raspberry spread on its own. Oh no, strawberry spread on its own, sorry. So I'm looking at the website now. Yeah, everything is still in stock. And this went live about an hour ago. But as we learned from the haters, Meghan has more than enough stock. Guys, let me just say in advance, if you hear me stop or go silent suddenly, it's just because I'm coughing. I get really, really bad post-nasal drip after colds, and I've had like a lot of sinus inflammation, the humidity here in this tropical climate, and the aircon. It's really having an effect on my sinuses right now. So if you hear me go a little bit silent, that's why. I do apologize for that. Meghan posted this lovely picture of her with balloons in her backyard. Tomorrow we revisit something sweet. One flavor worth the wait, another worth returning for. Sign up so you don't miss it. And here we are. Here, the raspberry spread has been an absolute hit. I'm sure the strawberry is delicious too. I think next, maybe in the springtime, lemon curd, something for Easter. I think lemon curd will be coming next. Possibly a chocolate spread. Maybe a thicker mix for pancakes and maybe some different types of cookie mixes. Actually, do you know what? I haven't seen for a while. Is the cookie mix still there? No. Yeah, the cookie mix disappeared. Sold out. So I think maybe a return of the cookie mix for spring, but maybe a different type of cookie mix. Also, I think another good one for Easter would be like cupcake mix. I can definitely see that coming. What else? So lemon curd. These are my guesses for the year. We'll make a bingo card. Lemon curd, cookie mix, a different type of cookie mix, sorry. Because I think the last one was like shortbread mix. So cookie mix and a cupcake mix. And maybe like a cake mix as well. For easy cake making. That's what I see coming next. And some more stationery. Yeah, those are my top guesses. What else do you think is coming for end of winter spring, folks? Maybe a brownie mix. Um Lemon curd, is it something popular in the UK? I don't think it's the most popular spread, but those who love it. Is what I can say. I love it. Like a lemon curd, lemon drizzle, a blueberry mix. Not necessarily like a front runner, but people do love it. A peanut butter, perhaps. I see that possibly. Um, Personally, you said I'm addicted to the strawberry jam. Raspberry is a close second. I think blueberry. I think blueberry will be a next one. Possibly even apple spread. Again, not a incredibly popular one, but people who like it like it. Oh, another one, rhubarb. I do love me some rhubarb. Maybe apple and rhubarb. Maybe like more artisan like flavors. I see that coming. Maybe small types of tea and coffee. Oh, coffee. That'll be a big one. No chocolate. Maybe for spring Valentine's. I mean, the chocolate at Christmas did so well. How about a new candle? Yes. Seasonal candles. I see that coming. And also perhaps some diffusers in the same sense. I think that'll be good. Not everybody likes like candles that have paraffin, so I think the diffusers will be good. Maybe oil burners. Like I mean, the potential is just endless. You could like guess all day. Apple butter is more of an autumn thing. Well, let's put it on the guest list for autumn. Cherry, yes, cherry again. Not always a front runner, but those who love it, love it. I do. All right. That's the as ever news for today. I hope you that want to get you some of that go and order. Okay, next thing. Let's have a look at this. I'm just gonna I try to stay away from beef from when it comes to other content creators. But this pissed me all the way off. So matter of fact, aka Amanda, she really got her start because she ended up losing her job. And if I remember correctly, she lost her job because somebody at her work found out that she was posting about Meghan and the royal family. And they didn't like that. It was basically the squad that came to her rescue. and a lot of people in that OG squad space. And I think they raised something close to like 10 grand for her, or something like that. Enough for her to have time to monetize. And since then, she has shown her colors numerous times. I remember one TikTok, I think she may have even deleted it, where she tried to say that Meghan was dressing like her dead mother-in-law. And she literally used that term. She said it like that, dead mother-in-law, Diana, because she wore like a similar coat or something like that. And little by little, she's just been showing her true colors. Her and the Substack lady, which is what I call her, when the whole thing with the charity happened, because they posted the swastika with the Star of David, they instantly jumped on Harry and Meghan's backs without really knowing the full story. I've seen them be very shady about Meghan's candles. I don't know why you would think that Meghan, whose background was in lifestyle, had a whole lifestyle blog, clearly has always lived a particular lifestyle for herself, why she would be incapable of creating a good product like a luxury candle, making very kind of just like snide remarks. And what I think has happened with people like Matter of Fact and the Substack lady is they initially built momentum off the back of the Sussex squad, right? And then they're now playing this game of, well, we're trying to be impartial. We're not pro Harry and Meghan. We're not anti Harry and Meghan. You know, we just try to like state the facts and all of this stuff. We try to be balanced. That's the kind of game they play. But I've noticed with Matter of Fact in particular, she does court like a very royalist audience. And that type of audience, if you're not even at least a little bit shady towards Harry and Meghan, even if though it's completely unwarranted, you're not going to have an audience with them. And it's how she's managed to build such a massive audience. I think she has over like 1 million followers on TikTok or something. So definitely not the kind of like OG squaddy fandom that basically gave her leg up, only for her to kick everyone in the face, right? Now that she has, you know, these million plus followers on TikTok and all these brand deals and all of this stuff. I think this should be a lesson going forward to the squad. Um, Anybody that just hasn't proven themselves should not be given attention. And to be honest, pretty much anyone, this is why I'm so glad I came up under Tina and Michelle. Because for me, looking at everything that Harry and Meghan went through, I am never, ever, let me just say this now, this is always going to be, and I'll just say it loudly and clearly, a pro Harry and Meghan, very biased pro Harry and Meghan space. Because I'm not going to make room for balance where there has never been balance or fairness directed at Meghan. Only hate, unwarranted, vile, or almost a level of a terrorism directed against that woman. So this is always going to be a very biased pro Harry and Meghan space, because it doesn't matter how biased I am, doesn't matter how biased me, Baron, Facts and 2 Cents it's never gonna it's never even gonna match up to the unwarranted hatred that Meghan has gotten, to the unwarranted pain that Harry has had to go through watching his wife being bullied like this. So I can't stand people like this who have the audacity to try and play this game of, oh, we're trying to be balanced. Like, honey, your fave sat next to Trump at a banquet. Like, please. There's a couple other smaller accounts like this also that are very annoying, but we won't give them any shine today. So what particularly ticked me off today that Amanda posted? She posted this. Real talk, I do wish that Harry and Meghan, like other celebs who attended Sundance, would have spoke out about ICE or even just worn the pins. Absolutely. I do understand why they didn't. Absolutely. Sorry, do I understand why they didn't? Absolutely. Their project was about Girl Scouts, and I'm sure, or at least hoping, they made a difficult and calculated decision to give the wonderful organization and young women they were spotlighting a time to shine on their own. Cookies and Queens are 1,000% deserve that. What the Sussexes do from here on, though, that would be a better way to gauge whether they're comfortable speaking on this moment. And let me just say, the Sussexes don't need to speak out about every single darn thing. After what this couple has been through over the last 8 years, I'm just going to say out loud right now, I really don't care if Harry and Meghan don't speak out about certain things. I don't. Now there are going to be some people in the fandom that take issue with that. There are going to be some people in the fandom that want Harry and Meghan to speak up about certain things. For me personally, Harry and Meghan can do what they want. They can speak out about what they want, and they do speak out about a lot of things. Did Harry not just release a statement the other day after Trump came out and started talking nonsense about the troops? Did he not? So why do you expect Harry and Meghan to behave exactly how you think, exactly how you want them to behave on every single issue? And given what's going on in the United States right now, the Heritage Foundation that has been coming after Harry's citizenship have now been given a front seat in power in the United States. This is the same Heritage Foundation that right now, as we speak, is actively working to revoke women's rights. It is literally in government documentation. You have no idea, really, or you're starting to get an idea of what is coming and what they are doing. And you want this family that already has a target on their back, 1 million targets, actually. Some of the guns firing shots are all the way on the other side of the Atlantic Ocean because they just can't leave Harry and Meghan alone. They're still obsessed. And you want them to speak about every single issue in the way that you want them to. And then she has the absolute audacity, and this peeved me off even more, to post a Martin Luther King quote with a picture of Dr. King, a black man, when Meghan, a half-black biracial woman, has been bullied for the last 7 or 8 years. Girl, if you don't sit the hell down. Sit the hell down. You've got your brand deals. You've got your little Temu tiaras. Go and enjoy your money. Enjoy your money. But please don't come out here and do this and think you have the right to tell Harry and Meghan how they should and shouldn't act. You know full well it would add another 100 more targets to their back and put their family in even more danger. And I 100% believe now that she has been in some kind of conversation with people in the palace. She has a very big platform. She did, if I'm not mistaken, attend some kind of dinner that was held in honor of Edward when he was in Philly last year. 100% a royalist fan girl. And you know what? You go and be that. It's clearly serving you very well financially. But we see through you. At least those of us that have been in the space well before you ever came in it. You probably wouldn't even have what you have. No, you wouldn't have what you have if it wasn't for the squad propping you up. So please, next time you have one of these coming in and crying and saying, please donate to me, just make sure that they're truly a real one. absolutely can't stand it. And the other one, the Substack lady, she's been showing herself quite a few times in the past also. And I've tried to kind of like stay out of these back and forths, but this just peeved me all the way off. Indeed, Wendy, fake they are. Fake they are. There's another one whose name I won't say, but she actually there's this application called Linktree where you can post all of your, links, donation buttons, all of that kind of stuff. She took my name, Duchess of Success, from Linktree. She claimed it herself before I could. And this is someone who I had started kind of being internet buddies with her. Obviously she was in the Sussex royal space. But then one day she came into my DMs and started adamantly defending Kate. And I'm just like, for what? Like, why are you telling me this? And that's when I clocked that she was two-faced. There's a few of them. You got to be careful. And it's sad. Like, we've really, I'm not going to say we lost some real ones because life happens. They moved on to other things. They just didn't want to be in the space anymore. But I miss the days of Meghanpedia. I miss, there was another one who's, oh God, I can't even remember her name. She was very similar to Meghanpedia. Sussex set, she came back, but she's not as regular as she used to be. But those real OGs in the day, I miss them. Their voices are truly missed. And it's unfortunate because I feel like the problem with people like Matter of Fact and Meredith, they kind of do this thing where they often glaze over some of the deeper issues at play, which I feel like we can talk on in more authorities because we've been there from the beginning. Lola, you said, I don't know why some people. Oops, wait, hang on a sec. Let me. Ooh, I think I've just missed. Okay, I have to scroll up a little bit. Hang on a sec. Wendy said, why the double standards for Harry and Meghan? They to speak out on politics, but the UK royals I hold to a different standard. Exactly. They were literally at a banquet. Literally at a banquet with Trump. Shaking his hand, clinking glasses. Please. You have absolutely no idea what these people can do at this point. Quite frankly, if I was a wealthy family in the United States, I'd be packing my bags and getting out. Because I don't necessarily think that your wealth is going to save you at this point. Real talk, if it was me, heck, I would have left a long time ago. I would have left back in 2016. And also, just because Harry and Meghan aren't vocally speaking out, that doesn't mean they're not doing stuff behind the scenes. We know that they do all the time. For all we know, they probably had people sleeping up in their house when them LA fires happen. So how do you know that Harry and Meghan aren't doing stuff behind the scenes? You don't. This exactly, Black Lily. They think that black folks are supposed to spill their blood on the streets for them. They chose the orange. Why isn't she talking about all the white celebrities and what they should and shouldn't do? Indeed. And you know what's even more ridiculous, right? They simultaneously downplay Harry and Meghan's abilities, their popularity. But Harry and Meghan need to speak out because then what will happen? What will happen if Harry and Meghan speak out? What will happen is Trump will just use it as another soundbite. Yeah, I remember. All squaddies gave that girl the money. And it was the Rangers that got her fired. Oh, thank you so much, Joan Garcia. You said, please don't raise your blood pressure over these witches. Peace to you. They're not worth the of karma. Will deal with them sooner or later. Yeah, well. Meredith's actually friends with Omid, by the way. Or at least I've met. I don't know if they're friends, but I've seen pictures of them together. Matter of fact, is now featured as a contributor on Chris Ship's Wrecked Royal podcast. He does for ITV. Well, there you go then. Yeah, she's riding the fence for clicks and views. For me, there's no fence to ride at this point. I'm down with absolutely everyone, every news outlet, every commentator, every blogger, every troll that's ever said anything negative about Harry and Meghan, because they have done nothing but contribute to a mass terrorist hate campaign in the media. Okay, next thing. Yeah, Sundance. So Harry and Meghan were at Sundance celebrating Cookie Queens, and I'm not going to play the video, but one of the most incredible moments from this was when Meghan took to the stage and spoke so eloquently, no notes, spoke from the heart, and also spoke from experience. She was a Girl Scout. Her mother was her troop leader. Spoke with such authenticity and depth. We did not need to look at notes 100 times while reading, like some people. Some people who have been a royal, been chasing being a royal their entire life, but still cannot even read notes, let alone speak from memory. I tell you, every single time I hear Meghan speak publicly and I see her appear, I'm just reminded of why the leftovers were seething. Seething. They spent all that time downplaying and insulting her for being an actress. But she's an incredible public speaker and she can speak from memory. She can speak from the heart. That's a talent that acting gives you. Anyway, all of the screenings, by the way, for this movie also sold out. So hopefully a larger distributor will pick it up and it will get more screenings at theaters across the country. I don't know how well it will do on an international market. Because I think this is a very like American centric kind of like tradition and topic. But I think the overriding message of these young girls and doing something empowering, I think that can probably resonate in other countries too. But certainly I think that with the right distributor and with the push that this has been given from Harry and Meghan's presence, I think it can actually do very, very well with American audiences and possibly become a much bigger financial hit than they would have originally anticipated. So I hope that happens for them. I hope there's some, distributor. Harry and Meghan are close with the, executives from Universal that can pick this up and give it more shine. Even if it's given like limited runs in other countries, if it's given a run internationally at all, I think that would be a big, big win. And bravo for Harry and Meghan for picking this and supporting it the way that they have. Next, Charles. Oh, and before I get on to Charles, let me also just say, how could I forget? Everything that Harry and Meghan are doing for films like this, is that not what William should be doing as the president of BAFTA? Is he even showing up for BAFTA nowadays? That's what William should be doing for film in the UK. So Charles was talking about young people and equipping young people to deal with challenges and challenges of the changing times. And the Prince's Trust, don't get me wrong, has done some decent things and given people opportunities, but the challenges that young people face now are like, we can't afford rent or groceries or the heating bill. So it just comes across as tone deaf to be putting out these sound bites while you're taking how much taxpayers' money that you don't need because you have other wealth. What young people need to be equipped with is opportunities, and opportunities that pay them well so that they can live well. So that they're not just working to live, living to work. Next thing. Right, let's have a look at a couple of other things from the phone hacking case. Some of the details that are coming out from this are just wild. So let's have a look first of all. This is from Hacked Off. So Prince Harry, as he, Liz, Hurley, and others give evidence at Mail trial, my every move, thought, or feeling was being tracked and monitored just for the Mail to make money out of it. Prince Harry and Elizabeth Hurley, each giving evidence at the Royal Courts of Justice earlier this week, have alleged that the Daily Mail tore apart relationships, drove its targets to paranoia, and made life miserable for anyone caught in its crosshairs. The publisher did so, they claim, by illegally spying on them, publishing their secrets, and invading the privacy of their families, partners, and closest friends. It was a bruising opening week for the Mail, whose publisher, Associated Newspapers Limited, is defending itself against litigation. The claims allege widespread illegality at the publisher, arguing that the Mail's prolific use of private investigators known to use unlawful methods demonstrates that the publisher was illegally spying on its targets. The Mail's defense is that there is no direct evidence of illegality, arguing that journalists got hold of private information through friends and other associates of the claimants. Now, the thing about that is that while the law doesn't necessarily see that as illegal, it is completely immoral. Even if you're going to friends and family and not spy, to me, that's actually still a form of spying on people. Because would these tabloid writers want anyone going to their friends and family so that we could find out about all the nasty things they get up to after they've done selling their soul on Fleet Street all day? So it's just like even their defense. Oh, we didn't spy on you and put tracking devices on your car and hack your phone voicemail. Oh, we just went to your friends and family to have them rat you out instead. What type of defense is that? That's your defense? Oh, we weren't pieces of poo in this way. We were pieces of poo in that way. Like what? What type of defense is that? The summary of the claimant's case published on Monday threatens to suck other senior figures in the press into the litigation. The current editor of The Sun, Victoria Newton, who, by the way, met with Charles just before he was coronated, is alleged to have been a habitual user of unlawfully access information, while Mail on Sunday editor David Dillon is alleged to have commissioned private investigators for criminal activity. The findings in the case could have implications for the online and print news media more broadly if it is found that yet another newspaper engaged in illegal behavior. Calls for the second part of the Leveson inquiry are likely to intensify. Are they likely to intensify? Yes. Is it likely to go ahead? No. Because even the current Labour government is shaking in its boots about Rupert Murdoch and these other press barons. They have no backbone against these people. Hattoff even came up once or twice during the course of evidence given by both Hurley and Prince Harry, with the Duke of Sussex generously praising the campaign for its fantastic work. Just scanning the articles so we can see what else. I don't want to read the whole thing because it's quite long. Liz Hurley is not new to asserting her rights against the press, and this is immediately obvious from her witness statement. She said people should feel comfortable in their homes, feel free to say personal things to their mother, family, and friends without these conversations being illegally taped and broadcast to the world by a national newspaper. Every time someone in the public eye seeks to defend themselves from unjustified intrusion, parts of the press resort to the well-worn line that parts of your life are public, so you can't complain when other parts are exposed. You know, they say that, but when it comes to exposing things that are actually in the public interest, like certain princes hanging out with certain PDF files, all of a sudden they haven't got time to nosy around for the details that we need. They've got all the time to go after Liz Hurley minding her business, but none of the time to go after corrupt officials, corrupt people in places of power. You know, all of a sudden now, we've got no time for that. Sorry, and we're back. Yeah. So the things I will broadcast to the world by a national newspaper are corrupt people in power and their dirty deeds being aired. I don't need to know about what's happening in Liz Hurley's life or any other celebrity's life unless they are abusing their money and status and engaging in acts of criminality. But I would say that for non-celebrities also. That is the only time anybody's private life should become public, when they are engaging in criminality. Victoria Newton, now editor of The Sun, is one of the reporters alleged to have used unlawful information in her coverage of Hurley. Hurley reflects by saying, looking at the unlawful articles now, armed with the knowledge that they had been illegally sourced, makes me feel as if my private life had been violated by violent intruders, that there had been sinister thieves in my home all along, and that I had been living with them completely unaware. The article, bylined by Newton's, reports on the paternity of Miss Hurley's sons Damien and crudely suggests, given Mr. Bing's wealth, that the findings could net $300,000 a year from Hurley in child support payments. Hurley adds, Victoria Newton has become a familiar name to me. It has pained me to see her name turn up again and again on documents revealed through litigation I have taken. I know for certain that she was setting private investigators on me when I was pregnant with Damien, and that she has been intruding into my life and stealing my information from 2001 to 2002, when I was utterly besieged by what was happening. And what's even more crazy is recently Victoria Newton was allowed on mainstream TV, daytime TV, and given a platform to talk about how she's basically doing propaganda for Kensington Palace. So why is someone who has been under investigation awaiting a court trial for illegal activity, this individual, the lead editor of a major tabloid newspaper, why is she being given a platform? And there are many people who will sit there and listen to Victoria Newton talk and not even know this. Because the very papers that are being accused of all of this are not going to report on themselves. Listen to, I don't think, do I have the picture of Victoria Newton? I don't have the picture of her, but I think those of you that have been around, you know who she is. This is what she said regarding Kate and Kensington Palace.
I was really moved the day of the Photoshop fail when the whole world was attacking her. I just thought it was outrageous. This poor woman was clearly ill and was so desperate that she tweaked a photo, minor tweaks, to make it look a little bit better. So that's why I did that front page, and it was really important. It then changed the narrative. A lot of the rest of the media then started saying, back off Kate. So I don't accept what you said earlier. In terms of reporting the fact that they went out to the Windsor farm shop a few days later, they knew that if they went out there in public, mingled with members of the public, they would be seen.
And FYI, we know that those people who were in that video footage were not William and Kate. So the lead editor of a national newspaper out here gaslighting her readers and the rest of the public. Even TMZ called out that BS and wanted nothing to do with it. And they're still acting as if we don't all know that wasn't William and Kate in that video. And she knew, likely, straight out the gate, that wasn't William and Kate in that video. But she sat there on national TV playing dumb, talking about they knew there were going to be video. That wasn't them.
And potentially photographed, because everyone's got a camera phone now, and that's how it happened. It wasn't a photographer, it was a camera phone. And of course I was in discussions with the palace all along with that, and there was no problem with us running those images, and it kind of felt that the nation was desperate to see her.
Let's talk about the other big
propaganda nonsense. Well, is there any surprise that the British people say that the press standards haven't improved since the phone hacking scandal? Indeed, they haven't. Because this is why you will have Jeremy Clarkson write an article about how he wants to throw feces at Meghan, but what do you get? Ofcom given a slap on the wrist, if that. Accountability where? It's not in the room with us. This from the Byline Times. British people believe standards in the UK press have not improved since the phone hacking scandal 15 years ago. I mean, if British people believed that more collectively and with more seriousness, they'd stop reading the Daily Mail and the Sun newspaper, to be honest. Because if you're not going to get the Leveson inquiry that you want, why are you still reading the tabloids? For what? So you can't sit here and demand a Leveson inquiry and demand truth. You're still reading the tabloids. With 7 in 10 voters demanding the industry be independently regulated for the first time, according to a new poll. Well, I guess the other 4 in 10 are the ones that read the Daily Mail. The survey conducted by pollsters Opinium for the Press Justice Project charity found that 54% of those surveys said press standards either haven't improved or have got worse over the past decades, with a further 71% saying the press should now be regulated by a body independent from the industry and politicians. Voters want publications to be more accountable for inaccurate reporting. 73% of those surveyed said they believe press corrections should be published with the same size and prominence as the original misleading reporting. That I agree with. Because what is the point of correcting something is if it's in small print on page 10? That's not a correction. That's avoiding litigation. It's a correction for the lawyers, not for the public. Support for reforming the press could be found across supporters of all parties, according to the poll, including voters for Nigel Farage even. Maybe the earth is healing. Of all the potential options for reforming the press, the most popular was for newspapers and their websites to be regulated by an independent regulator like Ofcom. According to the poll, readers of the Metro, 45%, the Daily Mail, 38%, the Daily Express, 37%, the Sun, 35%, the Daily Telegraph, 33%, and the Times, 31%, all backed independent regulation as their favorite option. Listen, if you are especially, I would say it to some level or another for all of these major newspapers, even the ones that are less tabloidy, but if you are a reader of the Daily Mail, if you are that 38% readers of the Daily Mail, if you are that 37% readers of the Daily Express, if you're that 35% readers of the Sun, please don't tell me that you want better regulation. Because if you wanted better regulation, you wouldn't be reading those outlets. Step 1, stop reading trash. Because there's no regulating that nonsense. It's all built off of the back of clickbait trash. It's built off the back of hate, especially the Sun and the Daily Mail. So I don't even understand the thought process of people who say they want independent regulation, but you're literally reading trash. You want to regulate the trash? How do you suppose that's going to happen? A lot of these tabloids just need to shut down. Just shut them down. They're of no use to anyone. And there's nothing you can do to change them. The Sun, for example, is literally built on sleaze. They've got women's tits on page 3. What type of regulation do you want a paper like that to be doing? None of the papers are currently independently regulated. Stephen Kinsella, OBE, chair of the Press Justice Project, said newspaper publishers often say they have cleaned up their act since the appalling practices revealed by the phone hacking scandal and argue there is no need for reform of press regulation. Well, they might not be hacking your phone anymore, but they're printing misinformation day in and day out. They're trying to create narratives more than they are reporting the news. Trying to hijack your attention with clickbait more than they are trying to give you the facts. Every week we hear the Press Justice Project hear from people affected by wrongdoing in the press, which proves otherwise. These results show that the wider public shares our concerns. There is a clear public demand for independent press regulation that provide effective remedies when newspapers fail to uphold ethical standards. Well, if you're continuing to read the Sun and the Daily Mail, they're not going to feel the need to uphold any ethical standards because they're getting clicks and views. And the majority of those clicks and views are going to very hateful content. Press wrongdoing continues to affect people from all walks of life. Almost 15 years on from the phone hacking scandal, there is still an urgent need to protect the public from press abuse. The Press Justice Project shares the public support for legislation that encourages industry compliance with independent and effective press regulation in the interest of the victims of press wrongdoing. We were established to assist. More than 400 potential victims have been identified by the claimants. Lawyers, in regards to the phone hacking scandal, after evidence was uncovered suggesting they were hacked and blagged by the Mail titles. The claimants allege phone hacking and other unlawful practices stretching back decades. Again, I will say there is no regulating outlets like the Daily Mail and the Sun. Stop reading them. Forget about regulation. Stop reading them. let them go bankrupt. With that, was there anything else that I was going to say? Oh, yes. Another positive story. I've just realized that I've just forgotten to put it on my slides. I do apologize. Before we wrap up, Invictus. Nominations are now open for the inaugural Invictus Spirit Awards. Yes, Invictus is going to have an awards. The Invictus Games Foundation is proud to open nominations for the first ever Invictus Spirit Awards, inspired by the former Endeavour Awards, celebrating the remarkable individuals and organizations who embody resilient service and the unconquered spirit at the heart of our global community. This is your opportunity to recognize those who have achieved great things, lifted others up, overcome adversity, advanced sport for recovery, or demonstrated outstanding commitment to the Invictus movement. You do not need to have taken part in an Invictus Game Foundation activity to be eligible, but nominees must either be members of the wounded, injured, and sick service personnel or veteran community who have used sport or adventure as part of their recovery journey, or from the wider community as long as they have had a positive impact on the recovery of wounded, injured, and sick service personnel and veterans through sport. The awards will I really don't know what happened there. I hope everyone can still hear me okay. Can everyone still hear me? No, I actually wasn't coughing. I got kicked out of the podcast. I don't know what happened there. Okay, so I was talking about the Invictus categories. Don't worry, folks, I'm okay. Yeah, so the Invictus Champion Award will acknowledge exceptional philanthropic commitment by individuals who have personally given or secured significant support for the global Invictus movement. And there will be a fifth award selected by the judging panel from the overall shortlist to recognize a single individual whose impact spans multiple categories and who truly embodies the essence of the Invictus ethos. So this is how to nominate. So you can nominate an individual or organization for one or multiple categories within the same submission. Supporting content such as photos or videos may be requested later for those shortlisted. Key dates. So nominations are now open. 8th of March nominations close and shortlisting begins, and April judging panel convenes and award winners selected. September 17th, shortlist and award winners plus nominees will be invited to the inaugural Spirit Awards. So listen in to all of that. If you know anyone who is worthy, please think about nominating them or making them aware, especially if you are somebody who has military personnel in your family. If that any of that resonates with you. Right. Because my browser kicked me out. I'm really annoyed because I wanted to read more of your comments. So I'll see if I can. Oh, it's very annoying. I can't scroll up any further, so I'll try and read as many comments as I can actually see on my dashboard. TV AUD, you said that UK should have privacy and libel slander laws like the US has to protect its citizens. Unfortunately, we don't. It's very difficult. Well, we do, but it's very difficult to bring something forward. To be honest, even in the US, like it's not even when they lie. It's when they just say things that are just so mean and horrible. Just for the sake of being mean and horrible and getting clicks and views. Let's see. The regulation will be the disillusion after the lawsuits. Exactly. That'll be the regulation. The regulation will be the tabloids going bankrupt. That's all the regulation you need. Heather, you said, I wonder if the Sussexes will have security by then. I guess we'll see. I think when it comes to security, at this point, I've just stopped guessing. The establishment are going to play games, but Harry and Meghan aren't playing games. Yes, onwards and upwards, Invictus. Maggie, you said, I hope the British press doesn't destroy the games for Harry. I mean, listen, the British press tried to destroy everything for Harry and Meghan, and thus far hasn't worked. And when it comes to Invictus and veterans, they just look like absolute idiots for trying to attack that. And Benjamin, you said, Anne, did you get in the mail on Meghan what that lady said? Nothing but praise for her pre-Harry or after. I'm not so sure what you're mentioning there. Electrostorm, you said, can Harry even trust the security because of that stalker? I've said 1,000,000 times that Harry cannot trust security from the UK. He can't trust them. But I think the whole court case and bringing it forward and, trying to air Ravik's dirty laundry, it's about, proving that dirty games are being played so that they can't rewrite history the way that they've tried to with Diana. Benjamin, you said, is that stalker a plant? Possibly. I keep saying, if she's known to Harry and Meghan's people, well, Harry and Meghan's people need to find a sneaky way of slipping a picture out so we can see who she is. Clearly. Because from the only picture that we have is blurry as hell. It looks like some Timu Nana Akua from the distance. Okay. Oh, Legs, you said, I hope that Invictus learned its lesson. Do not air anything on ITV. They pulled the old catch and kill on Invictus in Canada. Thank goodness for Canadian coverage. I would put it on YouTube. Yeah. I think with TV, I'm assuming that the advertising deals are probably a lot bigger. And you get more money for having it on a mainstream TV. But I agree with you. It should be online or just a more trustworthy outlet. Okay, I have tried for an hour to control my coughing, but now that I've been speaking for over an hour, my voice has just given up. So I'm going to end it there, folks. Thank you so much for being patient with me, and I will see you tomorrow, okay? Hopefully I'll feel a lot better. Thank you. Ciao.